What's up, guys? Portable D here with Virtuality Gaming, bringing you that the Q&A session as promised. The first question that we were asked was, what is our favorite game on each one of the consoles we are going to be doing, which, for those of you who do not know, is NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, Game Boy Color, hi Katie, Game Boy Advance, and older PC games. For the NES, my favorite would have to be Dragon Warrior 3. I played mostly RPGs growing up. That was one, however, I was not able to play. It was in the last year and a half, 2 years, that I was able to not only play it, but finally beat it. So, I liked the customization of the characters where you know, you got to decide whether they were male or female, what their names were, what kind of class they were. Okay, you need to move. For SNES, it would have to be Final Fantasy VI. Because I like the way that the characters were developed, the music, the battle mechanics, the story. It was all really well thought out. Despite the fact that the Super Nintendo version had a lot wrong with the translation and the censoring, but I don't know, for me that was kind of part of its charm. For the Sega Genesis, it would have to be Shining Force 2. I liked the first one, but I didn't like how I personally had so many issues with a couple of different battles. Ended up having to grind by regressing out of the battle and redoing it over and over. With the second one, I found that it was more balanced, and I didn't have to do that nearly as much. With Game Boy Color, Lufia the Legend returns, without a doubt. It took everything I loved about the first two games on the Super Nintendo and just added upon it. Game Boy Advance, I didn't really play a whole lot off of that. But I'd have to pick Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2006 edition. About the time that game was out, me and Portable C were pretty much every day, I think, we were buying like new packs of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, so we were pretty into it. We still play, but look, that was one of the few games that was out at the time for Yu-Gi-Oh! That was true to the actual game. And current ban list, the cat keeps getting in the way of my nose. For PC, it's a really old DOS game called Advanced Dungeons & Dragons: Pull of Radiance. One of the first games I ever played. As a kid, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. But I had a lot of fun, you know, just being able to wander all over the place, find new stuff. Cat, you need to get out of my way. Recently, I think within the last year, I've beaten not only it, but the second one, and started on the third one. However, the laptop's hard drive crashed. I had to completely wipe it, so I've lost... I lost DOSBox, the games, my data, so I will eventually start over, because you can transfer the characters from one game to the next. There's 4 games in the series, but the first one I grew up with, and I know the story really well, and I like that one the best. So, now I'm going to go ahead and hand you off to the others so they can also answer. Okay, the question is, what is your favorite game on each of the consoles we do?
I guess for me, for Nintendo, would have to be Double Dragon 2 was one of the first ones I actually ever rented back from a video store called Blockbuster.
Yeah, for the record, guys, for those of you who did not know, there were rentals.
Yes.
And back in the day, that's how you had to get your games.
That was the only way at that time you could get your games a little bit cheaper.
You bitches got it easy.
But I had fun playing with it. I pretty much beat it a couple times on my own and a couple times playing with my dad. It was okay here and there. It had its flaws, but still enjoyable for me. I guess for the Super Nintendo it would have to be Turtles in Time, just because I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan for one thing. Second of all, that had to be the best game they've had out. Because I've tried the first one, it sucked. Second one was meh. Third one was hit or miss in some ways for me. But not mind you, that's just on the NES, and only the second and third one were okay to play. But for Super Nintendo, Turtles in Time has to be the best one. Hold still, you little retard. Sorry, playing Maple Story at the moment, and the dude I'm trying to talk to kept moving on me, and I wanted to beat him with my sword. For the Sega Genesis, that's where I had most of my collection at. I mean, to this day I get teased about supporting Sega, but I guess that's just only because I'm a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, so my favorite one would have to be Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It was the first Sonic game I ever owned, and even though it has stages that really tick me off, I still have fun playing with it, even though I cannot get past one particular stage, which is the Chemical Zone plant. I suck at it.
I blew smoke and it went right in front of the camera.
And I just got myself lost on my own game I think play. For the Game Boy Color, I blame Horrible D. He got me started on The Legend of Zelda.
In case you guys are wondering, I'm smoking back here.
Yeah.
And it keeps going right in front of the camera.
Yeah, so that's nothing none of us are doing it except for Portable D, so blame it on him. But it would have to be Oracle of Seasons. It's kind of hard to pick between that one and Aegis. Really, it was a tough call because I like both of them for really no particular reason other than that I just kind of find them fun, and you would be a dick. Anyway. I'm just gonna go back and play Maple Story now, and I'm getting myself.
Anyway.
Damn it. For the Game Boy Advance, I tend to like strategy games a lot more than anything, so I tend to stick with Super Robot Tyson, especially the sequel, because that's the first one again that I played. As far as the Game Boy Advance ones go, and I actually enjoy it. Horrible D looks at me like I'm crazy for playing it, but
I'm not big on strategies.
yeah, that's why he doesn't even touch games like Fire Emblem.
Even though I'll play like the Full of Radiance games.
Yeah, he's just scared. Where the hell am I supposed to be going? Let's see, for the PC,
yes,
that was kind of a tough call as well, but I'm a huge horror nut. I love horror games, horror movies. Anything that's got blood and gore in it, I really enjoy. So it would have to be Doom, just because I can sit and play it at night and not be bothered at all, and where the hell I go. So yeah, that's about it for the stuff that I like. So damn.
Alright, the question is, what is your favorite game?
My favorite game is Contra.
Why?
Because it's kind of like a shooting game, except you have to be all stages then until you get to the last stage, it's kind of hard and easy, except actually hard, so it's kind of like a short game, so.
Alright, Pork Chop, what is your favorite game?
Kirby.
Kirby?
the favorites list for the formats that we do on this show. Mine for NES, it's a tie. Sorry about that, but it's NES, you know, so what the fuck. It's a tie between DuckTales and the original Legend of Zelda. For Super NES, it's Super Mario Brother Karts, because that game is dope. For Genesis, it was Shining Force. I think that one really pushed the RPGs a little farther. I like the idea that you could take more than just 4 people along in your party. That was pretty cool. For PC, and we're talking DOS, since it's old school, it's going to have to be Blood, because that game is fresh. For the GBA, I picked Final Fantasy Dawn of Souls. It's a twofer that lumps together the first and second games, and it throws in some extra shit, because that game was very cool. Game Boy Color, I picked Dragon Warriors 1 and 2, another twofer, and another great RPG game, and that's my list.
Hi, my name's Deb, I love gaming, and I have a channel entitled Deb Loves Gaming. Deb Loves Gaming is a channel where I play games, I review them, and sometimes I even record footage of me playing them. But today we're not talking about Deb Loves Gaming, we are talking about my favorite games for the following systems: Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, PC, Game Boy Advanced, and Game Boy Color. So I'm going to answer all those and share all those with you right now. Nintendo, we are starting off with the classic DuckTales. DuckTales is a side-scroller by Capcom based off the hit TV show. As most of you know, TV and movie licensed games don't do well, but DuckTales actually does a really good job of it. It's a side-scroller and it has a lot of fun things to do in it. Super Nintendo, another classic, Mega Man X. It takes all the games that were previous, takes everything good from them, and multiplies it by 10 while adding newer stuff. It's totally awesome. I totally recommend it. Sega Genesis, another classic, Sonic 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 took everything from Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and made it a little bit better. And then, you know, that's it. For my favorite PC game, I'm gonna stretch a little bit, because 1996 is a little bit too new, but, you know, it's too good. Half-Life 1 is my favorite PC game. It's so simplistic, yet so complex. It's one of my favorite games ever, let alone on PC. Now, with Game Boy Advance, I'm gonna have to stretch, because I didn't have that many good Game Boy Advance games growing up. They were mostly just crappy ones. But I'm going to say Banjo Pilot. Banjo Pilot is basically Diddy Kong Racing, except it's only Banjo-Kazooie characters, and it's on Game Boy Advanced. It's a good game. It's not fantastically awesome, amazing, but it's not terrible. Game Boy Color, Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. There's not really an explanation needed there. It's Legend of Zelda on Game Boy Color. What could possibly go wrong with that? So there you go. That is my list.
The next question is, how did you come up with the theme song, and what did you use to make it? So for that, I'm actually going to pass you off to Mojo, because, well, he's the official music man.
So I have this question from I don't know who it's from. How did you come up with the theme song, and what did you use to record it? Well, there's a long and short answer to this, and since I like talking about my music, we're going to go with the long one. I first met Portable D when we both lived out in the Cincinnati area, and I was recording as Mr. Motherfucker. I worked on music for a long time, and I had lots of music, lots of songs, and when I couldn't think of new stuff, I did all these remixes of my old songs where I flipped the shit, I changed the tempo, the moods, and just the songs were just totally different. So I had gigs and gigs of this music. And further down the road, Portable D was telling me about this show, the Retroality Show, where he was going to do video game reviews, let's plays, etc. And he asked me if I was still working on music. And I said, yes I am. As a matter of fact, I'm working on a brand new album of stuff that's going to be coming out a little later in the summer. And he said, well, would you mind, you know, for the show, writing me a theme song? And I was like, well, of course, you know, that'd be great. And I was going to go and check into this folder on these remixes and see if there was something suitable for the show. Meanwhile, on my other end of things, I I was working on this new album. I decided that I was going to change the band's name, Shotgun Pinata. And yeah, my man Skokie made this, so props to Skokie. Thanks, bro. Anyway, so I'm working on this new album, and all the songs were really different, but there was one song that was completely different from all the other ones and any other music I had ever done. It had an 8-bit sound to it, and the influence behind it was, what would it sound like if Gary Newman, you know, the guy that did Cars, among other things, as you guys will probably know, what would it sound like if he did like a Nintendo era type game theme? And I thought it would be great for the show, and I sent it to Portable D and asked him if he dug it, and he liked it, so we were going to use that for the show. While I was working on this album, a guy found my Bandcamp page, and he contacted me, Dominic Francisco. He was like, hey man, you know, I think your music's great. I'd like you to be part of my label. So he signed me to Fantastic Planet Industry, and I worked on this whole album. And the song that I did for Portable D was called Happiness Can Be Fatal. You can get that at my Bandcamp page, which is probably going to be down there in the description. And you can get that. You can get the whole album. You can get all the other albums out there for free. How many times do you see free music, you know? What the fuck? Grab it. And as far as the software, I used a Fruity Loops 2, because that was the first program that I ever used to do music, so I was kicking it way back, you know? And that's how that all happened.
Alright, the next question is, where does the name Retroality come from? Well, I used to mess with Fruity Loops. I was never very good at it, but I tried to make my own theme song originally. Probably about 2 years ago is when I first tried to do this. Back then it was just game reviews I was trying to do. And while I'm sitting there laying out some beats, the terms retro and reality kept popping into my head, and eventually I just combined them into one word, and that became the name of the show. I am aware there's also around on YouTube and I think some other places something called Retroality Gaming, or not gaming, Retroality TV. We chose Retroality Gaming to be different because I don't want to get rid of the name Retroality, but I wanted to show people what it is we do. So we are called Retroality Gaming. The next question is asking about how we came up with the nicknames. Well, like I said, I was originally going to do just gaming reviews a couple years ago, and it was actually mostly going to be stuff on like the DS, because not a lot of people at that time were reviewing handheld consoles, and since the DS was at that time my favorite modern gaming system, well, my first name starts with D, so we just put portable in front of it because I played a lot of handheld consoles. It's pretty much the same thing with Portable C. Little Port was actually named by members of the clan I played for in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, because I went by Portable D on there, and he started playing under my profile, and the voice thing we use to communicate with each other outside of the game, it's a program called Ventrello, by the way. He was on there, and they kept calling him Little Port, so the name just stuck. And Pork Chop is actually, I gave him the nickname that my dad had before he died. He was part of the Iron Horsemen, and when I was around they would call me Little Pork Chop. So when he died and he was born, we decided we were gonna nickname him Pork Chop as well. So he's third generation Pork Chop. Will you ever do consoles like the Nintendo 64 or PlayStation consoles? The PlayStations. Oh, okay, PlayStation 2 is probably a definite no. I may do some games on it, but as a regular thing, probably not, because I consider that too new of a console. The PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64, we currently have no way of doing so. But probably once we get what we need in order to properly record them, then yes, we'll probably have those. How did you get into LPs? That actually goes back to Dragon Warrior. Like I said, as a kid, I'd never beaten them or anything. I only had the first one, and I never beat it. So I went looking up a walkthrough through Google, because for some reason I was way too lazy to just type in GameFAQs.com and go from there. And a video came up by a guy named H.C. Bailey. So I watched and found out about Let's Plays that way, what they were, and I kind of liked the idea. And through them, I was able to beat many games that I have never been able to beat, such as the first 3 Dragon Warriors, Full of Radiance, Curse of Azure Bonds, the King's Quest games, and a whole lot more, to be honest. So yeah, that's how I got into LPs in the first place. Okay, this question, I actually am asking to the rest of the crew, myself, and that is, who is your favorite My Little Pony character? We're all bronies, just so you fucking know. And fuck you before you judge us. Now, for my answer to my own question, well, come on, it should be obvious. It's literally all over. It's on my bracelet, right here, and of the small blind bag figures, I've got 4 different variations of her. So mine should be more than obvious. For those of you who don't know, though, her name is Rarity. Okay, now the question is, who is your favorite pony?
Applejack. Why? Because I'm a little bit country myself. Here's my little figure of her, and I also have a couple variations of her blind bag form. And like Portable D, I do not have the big plushie, but it too is on its way.
Alright, Little Port, who is your favorite pony?
Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash.
Now, you got 2 Rainbow Dash dolls, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you show them to them?
Here's the little one, like here that Mama got for me just for a
Little 6-inch plush.
surprise. Rainbow Dash plush, and I got a big one Mama gave.
The 12-inch
Yeah.
Rainbow Dash plush.
And
Which, yes, for those of you who have noticed, I do not have a Rarity one, but she's coming. I tell you. Alright, Pork Chop, who's your favorite pony?
Pinkie Pie.
And the last question is, what kind of setup do we use? Well, not very much. Here. Okay, so this is the desktop we use to mostly to record the game itself. Once we have it, have what we need recorded and everything, we put it on an SD card, and transfer it to the laptop. That's the tripod we use, nothing special. Okay, and here's the laptop, external mouse for it, because it's a lot easier to use that. This is the PC graveyard, just in case you're wondering. The screen on here, however, is messed up, broke, so we use this monitor right here. The speakers work just fine in here, but for better sound, we use externally USB speakers built for laptops. We use this camera right here when we're filming silent footage, because it records at an unusual bit rate. This for doing face cams and stuff. Card reader. Obviously we need that since all of our data gets put on SD cards. There's the controller we use. We have a normal boom mic that currently doesn't work, but I'm trying to get it fixed because it actually has pretty good sound quality. Empty bottle of Rolling Rock. USB headset, nothing fancy. We do all of our editing though. All of the editing gets done on this because it's a lot easier that way on me, because I do all the editing. I could just easily just sit on my bed and do it from there. Okay guys, that's all the questions that we've gotten. Most of them were asked by people we know outside of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You guys are still free to ask us questions at any time. Just leave us a comment or message on whatever you follow us on, and we will be more than happy to answer it. Links to Mojo stuff and Dev Loves Gaming will be in the description. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Those are in our channel description, or in our channel little sidebar thing, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Thanks Mojo and Dev for taking the time to record and answer questions for people. We also have a new affiliate kind of thing going on with another old friend of mine who's kind of like a brother, like Mojo. The link for that will also be in the description. So go check him out. Him and his I don't know if it's his girlfriend or his wife. I don't know if they ended up getting married or whatever, but they have their own photography business. So you know, if you're looking for shit like that, go check him out, man. So yeah, that's it for right now. So keep it retro.